What's going on, everybody? A lot of the times when I do a video, I have sort of a central topic or theme that I'm excited to get your input on or share my thoughts on or just share some data with you. And this is not the case today. I have 4 things that I'm extremely excited to cover with you. And it made it hard for me to make a thumbnail or title this video, because how do I title a video when it's one title, but there are a variety of things I wanted to share? And all of the things that I want to share with you, I'm really excited to do. Now, one of the things that happened is one of our community members recently bought a PSA graded card, bought it on eBay, and then got the card and realized there was a problem. To say it was a PSA blunder is probably an understatement. Now, the seller tried to take care of everything and did a great job from what I hear, but it was certainly not PSA's finest moment. So I want to share that story with you and show you what happened there. I also wanted to take a minute to show some of the recent items that had been sent. You guys continue to just absolutely shower me with amazing, cool gifts. Some of the more thoughtful and meaningful items I've received this past couple of weeks. I haven't been able to share them because I've been traveling a lot. I was in Colorado, I was in Cleveland. I had some other events that I've mentioned recently. So I wanted to share some of those. Some of them you're really gonna like. I sure as heck did. And then I wanted to share an adventure that I went on when I was in Colorado with Lucy and with my wife Megan when we were there for her soccer tournament. We had a half a day to spend on something, and we had a few ideas, and I want to kind of take you through what we decided to do and how we ended up there, and share with you some of the stuff that we got to experience. And then last but not least, I've got what I consider a pretty big announcement. I'm really excited. You know, I had mentioned recently that I reached the 5,000 subscriber threshold. And I want to talk a little bit about that, but I want to also kind of share with you my plans as a result. So those are the things on tap. Not a common theme, a variety of things, all of which I genuinely think, if you stay tuned, you'll probably enjoy all 4. First off, though, let's take a look at the card that one of our community members bought and kind of how things played out. And then I want to get everybody's take on that situation. I don't think you're going to, well, some of you will say, yeah, this doesn't surprise me. And some of you go, oh my gosh. Let's check that out first.
Okay, so a member of MidLife Nation bought this 58 Tops Sandy Koufax, and he submitted a best offer, which was accepted. And you take a look at this thing. It's a really nice looking card. I could totally see why he went for it. And as we scroll up there, you'll see it was assigned a 4 from PSA. And the back of it is super sweet. And you can see the cartoon there. Love those cartoons. I've talked a lot about those recently. And then there are initials on the back of the card. Writing with ballpoint pen. Now, according to PSA's website, any and all cards with writing, ink marks, pencil marks, etc., or evidence of impression left from the act of writing will be designated with an MK qualifier. But according to this card, it clearly has writing on it, these initials, and did not receive the MK qualifier.
So how does that happen? How does PSA on their own website say any card with writing on it or ink on it or marks on it will get an MK qualifier? And then there are clearly initials written on the card and it received a 4. Now, it's a good looking card, and somebody might say, well, you should have noticed on the pictures. You should have noticed on the pictures that it had initials on it. Well, PSA, who looks at cards under a loop, they somehow missed it. So, it's interesting to me that a card could look really nice, like that one does, and, they could look it over really thoroughly, like they say they do, and then just miss writing on the back of the card. Now, when I buy a card online, I'll be honest, I spend 90 to 95% of the time looking at the front of the card. Some cards that are listed for sale, they don't even show the back. Now, I think people should show the back, don't get me wrong, but that just goes to show how much of people's focus is on the front that some people don't even bother showing the back of a card. So I certainly could see how somebody spending most of their time on the front, flip it over, just give it a quick glance, okay, and go back to the front, might miss that. But PSA, who are professional graders, who are scanning cards in, who are looking at cards through heavy magnification, miss a couple of letters written in ballpoint ink. How does that happen? What is your thought on this? I know a lot of you are SGC people and you're going to go, oh, see, it goes to show you, PSA doesn't care. And a lot of you might be PSA people and say, oh, everyone makes a mistake. But seriously, I know they do a heavy volume, but we're looking at a Sandy Koufax card that has writing on it. And PSA's notification that they say they put on every card that has writing on it isn't on the card. How do they explain that? Explain to me what you think happened there and what your thoughts are on it. Now, first, however, I want to take a look at the adventure that we went on in Colorado and take you through how this unfolded. Now, when I was in Colorado, my good friend Darren from Return to Collecting, he lives in Colorado Springs. And he said, we hung out, we had lunch together, our wives met, we all hung out and had a good time. I went over to his house, I looked at his collection, had an absolute blast. His collection is absolutely awesome. Again, if you're not subscribed to Darren from Return to Collecting, you've got to at least subscribe just to see his collection. It's incredible. Now, getting to do that was fun. And it was also fun because while we were in town, I kept texting him and saying, hey, we've got 2 hours to spend. Any recommendations? And he'd say, yeah, you should check this out. You should check that out. Well, one day we had 2-3 hours. And I said, what should we do? And he said, you know what would be really fun? He said, you should check out the Olympic and Paralympic Museum, which is in Colorado Springs, because Colorado Springs is the home of a bunch of the training of the U.S. Olympic team. And so with a lot of roots there, it makes sense that they would have a museum there. So I didn't really have many expectations. I didn't know what to expect. We went over to that, and some of the artifacts that were at that museum were amazing. And I was in there for about 3 minutes, and I said, I need to videotape some of this and show this to everybody because I think people will really, really enjoy this as much as I am enjoying this. So I shot a little bit of footage. I wanted to give you a quick run through of some of the things that were in there. Some really amazing pieces of memorabilia are in that museum. If you're anywhere near Colorado Springs, you've got to go to it. But let me show you a quick little tour of some of the things that we saw while we were there.
So here we are, or I am at least, out in front of the Olympic and Paralympic Museum. And here we are walking on up. And here I am with Lucy in front of some authentic torches that go all the way from 32 to present. And it's amazing as you look at these, seeing how much more ornate they get as they get more and more modern. You're going to start to see it really kick into gear. There's the 84 torch on the right. And look at where things pick up. And it's unbelievable the advancement that they take here in the more modern torches. That was incredible. And one of the workers came up and showed us a picture of Carl Lewis looking at the same case. So Jim Thorpe is represented in the Olympic Museum. Here are a couple of his cards, as we know. A very sought-after couple of football cards. But he was not just a professional baseball player and football player, but he was an Olympian. And if you look right there in the middle, now moving toward the left, that is Jim Thorpe's reissued Olympic gold medal. Now, he won a gold medal in the decathlon and was stripped of those later on. Now, this is his signature in a passenger log of the SS Finland, which he took to get there. How about Joe Frazier, a U.S. Olympian, and some of his boxing shoes? Those were on display, along with some other boxing memorabilia. I thought those were very cool. How about Roland Gardner? Remember him? He beat the Russian wrestler who hadn't lost in like a decade. And if we look here, is his singlet from the following Olympics, where he won a bronze medal after winning a gold before in his first. And then how about Team USA? A jersey signed by the entire U.S. men's basketball team. Kobe, LeBron, and company. You can see a lot of the names on there. That was a very cool display. That one was behind glass. How about Jim Craig, the U.S. Olympic goalie, who was phenomenal in the Miracle on Ice march for the gold medal and the famous shot of him jumping as the time sounded. And when we look here, that is his gold medal from the Miracle on Ice team. And in addition, his home and away jerseys that he wore during those Olympics. There you can see a lot of his items were on display at the museum, which was very cool. His blocker and goalie glove as well, which I just was blown away at the number of amazing items. Now, in addition to this, some of his rings were on display. So you've got his Boston University National Championship ring and his Olympic rings. That was awesome. And more stuff for the Miracle on Ice team. How about a stadium seat that was in the stadium for the game, signed by the entire team, and the actual scoreboard, which is lit up with the final score. Now, Bonnie Blair was one of my favorite Olympians back when I was growing up. She was unbelievable. Well, her skates were on display, the same ones that you saw there pictured a second ago. That was really cool. I love watching speed skating in the Olympics, so seeing Bonnie Blair's stuff was really, really cool for me. I absolutely was thrilled for that. How about Dan Jansen, speaking of speed skaters? Remember, his sister passed away the morning of his early Olympic races, and he fell a couple of times before eventually winning the gold medal in his final race of his career. Always a favorite, but all the mishaps prevented more golds. How about Shannon Miller? Remember her? An incredible, one of the most decorated American gymnasts. Her scrunchie, the one pictured there, was on display as well. There were some other items in there that were moving for sure. You'll remember in the 72 Munich Games.
McKay speaking to you live at this moment from ABC headquarters just outside the Olympic Village in Munich, West Germany. The peace of what have been called the Serene Olympics was shattered just before dawn this morning, about 5 o'clock, when Arab terrorists armed with submachine guns, faces blackened, a couple of them disguised as guards or as trash men in the Olympic Village, climbed the fence, went to the headquarters of the Israeli team, and immediately killed one man, Moshe Weinberg, a coach, 2 shots in the head, 1 in the stomach. This is building number 31.
And the world watched live as that hostage crisis unfolded. And cameras were rolling, and watching people poking their heads out and people trying to peek in the windows and security trying to secure things. Obviously, one of the darkest moments in Olympic history, where eventually a grenade was set off in a helicopter.
The latest word we get from the airport is that, quote, all hell is broken loose out there, that there is still shooting going on, that there's a report of a burning helicopter. As a kid, my father used to say, our greatest hopes and our worst fears are seldom realized. Our worst fears have been realized tonight. They've now said that there were 11 hostages. 2 were killed in their rooms yesterday morning. 9 were killed at the airport tonight. They're all gone.
One of the most famous moments in broadcasting history, really, is that moment. And one of the Israeli athletes that was killed in that hostage attack was David Berger, who was born and raised in the United States, but also lived in Israel and represented Israel. And this here was his uniform for the Olympic opening ceremonies that he wore, and his Olympic participation medal that he was awarded in weightlifting, and obviously lost his life in that incident. And there were medals on display from just about every Olympics ever. And taking a look at just how much they changed and how ornate they became, you can see such an evolution in the medals. And you can see here, all of these were just medals without a ribbon or way to wear them. And that's the way they were originally done. Until 1960 in Rome, they began being awarded with a ribbon and hung around the athletes' necks. So you can see here the development of how they all evolved. And I'll keep showing you a few more of these, and you can see they just get more and more and more ornate and beautiful and creative and artistic as well. Such an amazing museum. And as a huge fan of the Olympics, having been so my whole life, I was 5 years old in 1984, and I remember sitting on my dad's lap for 2 straight weeks watching these events. And here are more of this more recent medals. Now again, these are actually some of the Paralympic medals, but they're the same ones that are awarded to all athletes. And this case was just gorgeous, really giving you a good look at how incredible these are. We had a fabulous time there, and I knew I had to share it with you guys. And there I am out front with Megan on my one side and Lucy on the other.
Wasn't that crazy? Wasn't that absolutely awesome? I don't even know what the coolest thing was. Jim Thorpe's reissued gold medal, his signature in the log from when he took the ship over for the Olympics. You know, some of the torches and the gold medals, how about the Israeli opening ceremony outfit and participation medal? I mean, I'm literally getting the chills right now just thinking about how cool that was. The Team USA basketball jersey with all of those signatures, the Rulon Gardner singlet from his bronze medal stretch at the Olympics. Were so many cool things, and seeing those medals and seeing those torches, I'm a huge fan of the Olympics. I absolutely love the Olympics, and I just thought that was a complete blast, and anybody who is in the area has to go. But I just had to share that experience with everybody, because the whole time I was there, I was like, oh my gosh, everyone would love this so much. Let me show at least some of the things that are in there. And I just showed a very small amount of it. but it was such a fun adventure. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to show you just a few quick items that have recently been sent over to me. And some of the coolest, most like touching items that I've been given were included. Some super rare, vintage, I know people oddball don't like that term, but rare, obscure items that were very, very cool. Both baseball and some football. And let me show you some of the stuff that I've been sent and share some of the information that was included with me about what these items are. Check these out.
All right, so first off, this is a Greg Nettles photo from Steve, and this is from 1980. Topps put these out, and they came in packs, team packs, and this is a great picture of Greg Nettles, so that is very cool. And then the next thing I got was from my friend Brent. Now, Brent is a great guy. I've gotten to know him much more recently, and he said, well, even though this is not really old, it's just designed to look old, it has Babe Ruth on one side and a pirate on the back. He's like, you had to have that. And then Clemens and KB Toys. I've talked about KB Toys a little bit. The first complete set I got was the 87 Topps complete set, and I got it at KB Toys. So he's like, when I saw KB Toys and Clemens, you had to have that. So thank you, Brent, for those. That's super cool. And then Jay sent me these. This came from a Louisville Slugger glove, and it was attached to that. He said he attached it in the 80s, unattached it in the 80s. And then this SSPC is from 1975. And he said that he read that Keith Olbermann wrote the backs of these when he was in high school. Is that true? Now, a friend of mine used to work with Keith Olbermann, doesn't anymore. Would have been interesting to find out if that was really the case, which is unbelievable. Now, these were sent to me from Tom. Very cool. From the 1956 Cleveland Browns. They're postcards. And it's a set that features a few players. And I think it's 6 players, he said. And he said that he hasn't seen many. And these ones, though, he was nice enough to send me these ones, a copy for me and a copy for my dad. So thank you so much for those. Very cool. I clearly love vintage football cards, and these are absolutely gorgeous. The images are fantastic on these big postcards. So thank you, Tom. And then I also got this from my buddy Steve. Now, Steve lives out in Las Vegas. I met his friend Don at the Strongsville show, and that was cool. It's a reprint of the 48 Bowman Yogi Berra. And then look at this. So this is a Sports Illustrated, Greg and the Goose, 2 former Yankees, and it's signed in gold pen. You can see down there, 2 ex-Yankees. It's signed in gold pen by Nettles. Now, the funny thing about that is we call my daughter Goose. Her name is Lucy, but her nickname is Goose, and I'm Greg. So Greg and the Goose is so fitting. Super cool. And then this is a copy of the Yank magazine, and this was from 1947, July of 1947. He also sent this 47 Cleveland Indians picture pack. Now, the cool thing about this Bob Lemon is this Bob Lemon came out in 1947, 2 years before his rookie card, by 2 years. And they used the same image, I guess, in 48, but this one is 47. And there's the rest of the pack. It is missing a couple of the players, including the Larry Doby, but it does have the Bob Feller. I pulled that out when I was looking through it, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And this is from Phil. Thank you so much. And then how about this? We got Fred McGriff on a postcard on the minor league Syracuse Chiefs. So it's a minor league postcard card of Fred McGriff. And now this is an M114 image of the 1943 NL pennant winning Cardinals. And this came out in 1944. And it's got Stan Musial on it in the front row. And this predates his rookie card by quite a ways. Very cool.
What awesome gifts, right? You guys don't have to give me anything. You guys all know that, right? Like, I appreciate every time something shows up in the mail. I so appreciate it. And I got to tell you, in just the items I showed, 2 or 3 more states on my U.S. midlife map filled in. So it's really filling in nicely. I'll show that here soon and just show you some of the additional places that are now represented of where I've received different items from all of you. The generosity is absolutely phenomenal. So now, last but not least, you know, when I started my YouTube channel, and it was about, about 19 months or so ago, you know, a lot of people asked me, hey, do you have any goals for your channel? And I'm like, well, yeah, I want to connect with people. I want to have a community where there are people who share their interest in cards and exchange ideas and have a forum in which we can post things and interact with each other and share excitement when we pick cards up. That was a goal. Another goal that I had was I thought it would be really ambitious if I said in 2 years I could have 1,000 subscribers. And the reason I thought that would be an ambitious goal is not because 1,000 subscribers is anything other than kind of a big number that shows that there are a good number of people that have joined the community of interacting around cards. I thought that that would be phenomenal. And before I started the channel, I looked at a few things and I looked online and I said, you know, how long does it take to reach 1,000 subscribers? And most of the content that I watched and read about said, if you're consistently posting content on YouTube 2 to 3 times a week, the average channel will take 2 years to reach 1,000 subscribers. So that was my goal. And another goal that a lot of people had asked was, what's your ultimate goal? What is the absolute dream? What is the absolute most that you could ever imagine if you did this for a long time, your channel could get to? And I said, the ultimate goal would be 5,000 subscribers. Honest, that is genuinely what I said, is 1,000 subscribers would be incredible. No, I'm sorry. 5,000 subscribers would be incredible, you know, and I'm thinking 5 years, 6 years, 7 years into the future. Now, again, it's not about subscribers. It's not about, oh, I got another subscriber, so that makes me special. It's not about that. It just means there are more people who have become interested in being a part of the community. And if 5,000 people could be interested in coming here to share ideas and share thoughts and share cards and share pickups, then that means we reach way more people than I ever thought was possible. And that's the reason that reaching 5,000 subscribers is so important to me and was such an amazing thing that when it happened, I was genuinely like overwhelmed with appreciation of people's acceptance of me and my quirkiness and my personality. And, you know, knowing that some people watch not so much because they think I'm the greatest, but because it's like, you know, driving by a car crash. But I've had a great time. And so I wanted to do something fun to celebrate. And a lot of people do giveaways, and I know that's a thing. And people are like, oh, that would be fun to do a giveaway because then somebody will get something cool. But for me, it's not really about giving away something cool. That for me, it continues to be about the community and spending time together in the community. One thing I haven't done much of is live streams that I've hosted. I haven't really done much of that. I did a Hobby Palooza. Mike Moynihan was gracious enough to offer me an hour of Hobby Palooza last summer. That was fantastic. I had so much fun, but I didn't host it. I've been on several live streams of others, especially the For Collectors channel. I'm so honored that they have had me on multiple times, and every time I do it, it's an absolute blast. I did host a live stream when I did a giveaway for a Mickey Mantle card a few months ago. That was pretty cool. But it was only about 20 minutes, and the whole point of the live stream was really to just give the card away. It wasn't to interact or answer questions or anything like that. And then I did the live stream where Mangini debated Blue Jacket and, debated, but they had the conversation of really, I think that event really helped jumpstart the conversation about card alteration and restoration. It had been talked about some before that, but it really took off, at that time as Kurt's card care was taking off. And so I was honored that those guys asked me to be a part of that. And I did technically host that, but I haven't really done a live stream where it's just hanging out, answering questions, interacting. So that's what we're going to do to celebrate the 5,000 subscriber threshold, right? What I'm going to be doing is on Friday, May 17th. This is next Friday, a week from today. I'm going to do a live stream, and I'm going to have several guests. And each of those guests that's going to come on is very special to me, is a friend that I've made since I started my channel. People I didn't know before I started my channel, some of which I watched, but none of them had I ever interacted with. Now I'm honored to call them friends, and I'm going to bring each of them on to kind of talk for a few minutes to each of them about, kind of our journey together. And so there are a handful of people that are going to be on. I have another good friend who's going to be backstage running the green room, making things happen, which I've never had anybody do that. So will we make some mistakes? Of course, it's a live stream. And I'm not a professional, and none of us are. We're just there to hang out and have a good time. So I rarely do this, and I'm excited to do it. But I'll be honest, I'm nervous. I'm nervous to host a live stream because, a lot of people said, why don't you do live streams? And my response has always been, I'm afraid nobody will show up. I'm afraid it will be me talking to a camera and nobody else will be there. And the thing that makes live streams fun is the chat. It's the interaction. It's the people sharing ideas and thoughts and all the funny quirks that everybody says along the way. So I'm going to try this. It's really the first time I've hosted a live stream to just kind of hang out, answer questions, talk about topics, and have any guests. This is like the first time I've really done this. So I hope that you'll consider next Friday, again, May 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'll be doing this live stream. And again, I've got several guests that were coming on, and I'm excited about that. But there's more. I've got a pretty big announcement. I mean, a lot of people come and go, that was the announcement. To me, a pretty big announcement that I'm going to be sharing during the live stream. I'm going to share with you some stuff, and I'm going to tell you about something new, and I'm excited to do it. And I'm going to unveil that at the live stream next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, May 17th. I really hope that some of you will consider showing up, hanging out, asking some questions, interacting in the chat, because I'm certainly excited to hang out with a bunch of my new friends that I've met through YouTube, interacting with them on screen, and interacting with a lot of you through the chat. I hope you'll check it out.